Good evening and very warm welcome to everyone for our monthly stock and strategy webinar. June month saw investors navigate a mix of earning update, uh, monsoon development, and evolving global cues, keeping markets largely range bound despite global volatility. While domestic macro fundamentals remain supportive, valuation, earning growth, and global uncertainty continue to be the key monitorable. As we step into July, we will discuss the key market drivers, sector opportunities, and investment strategy for the month ahead. Gaurav, can you please share the slide? Yeah. So to first start with the global equity market, when we look at the global equity market, that showed a big strength, and that is amid fragile US-Iran peace agreement and global tech sell-off. अगर आप देखेंगे ज्यादातर मार्केट जो है रैली हुई थी इनिशियली ऑन द गुड न्यूज रिलेटेड टू द ईजिंग टेंशन ऑफ ईरान एंड यूएस वॉर इसके बाद जो क्रूड प्राइसेस थे दे वर सॉफ्टर बट आफ्टर दैट व्हाट हैपेंड इज द टेक्नोलॉजी लेट सेल ऑफ वेट ऑन द टेक हेवी इंडाइसेस सो इफ यू लुक एट द इंडाइसेस लाइक Nasdaq or even Taiwan and other indices they got impacted later. अगर मंथ की बात करेंगे तो जापान हैज गिवन द हाईएस्ट रिटर्न 6%, यूरोजोन 4%, और अगर वीक मार्केट की बात करेंगे तो Nasdaq एज आई सेड एंड हांगकांग एंड इंडोनेशिया दीज वर द ऑन द वीकर साइड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. या व्हेन वी लुक एट द इंडियन इक्विटी मार्केट, सो इंडियन इक्विटी मार्केट में भी हमने देखा अगर इस मंथ की बात करें तो वी हैव सीन रफली 1.4% गेन इन द निफ्टी इंडेक्स. So broadly, the market has moved in a narrow range amid global geopolitical development and weakness in the AI-related stocks and the weak monsoon. These all has impacted the market in the month of June. Mid cap index जो है largely flat close हुआ था इस month में. But interestingly, what we have seen is the small cap index that has gained 4%. सो इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक ड्रिवन काफी अच्छा कुछ स्टॉक सेक्टर्स में काफी रैली हुई इसकी वजह से मिड कैप्स इंडेक्स हैज गेन 4%. In terms of sector, when we talk about IT was the biggest drag with 9% decline, followed by metal and power indices. अगर because of the जो globally जो crude price after we have seen that settle down, तो एक commodity में sell off भी दिखा and that has impacted metals indices. एंड आईटी में जो एआई रिलेटेड जो टेक सेल ऑफ हुआ दैट हैड इम्पैक्टेड. बट ये टेंशन ईज हुआ उसके वजह से व्हाट वी हैव सीन इज द रियलिटी इंडेक्स हैज परफॉर्म्ड वेल एंड द बैंकिंग सेक्टर हैज परफॉर्म्ड वेल. दीज टू बोथ दीज इंडेक्सेस हैज ग्रोन एट 6%. अगर when we talk about the crude prices, so crude prices have eased from roughly $94 at the beginning of the month to around $72 per barrel. सो ये एक इम्पैक्ट हमने देखा क्रूड ऑयल का जो प्राइस डिक्लाइन हुआ बिकॉज ऑफ द यूएस ईरान वॉर दैट वेयर वी हैव सीन सम नेगोशिएशन सम सेटलमेंट. बट एफआईआईज दे कंटिन्यू टू रिमेन द नेट सेलर इन द मंथ एंड बट क्या हुआ टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द मंथ वी हैव सीन दैट सेल ऑफ हैज मॉडरेटेड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. When we look at this performance chart of Nifty and Sensex, so Indian equity market, as I said, has remained volatile in the month, and इसमें क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस एंड जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशंस जो वेस्ट एशिया में उसका एक इम्पैक्ट रहा था. उसके बाद हमने देखा कि जो सेंटिमेंट थोड़ा इम्प्रूव हुआ बिकॉज आरबीआई इज अनाउंस द मेजर्स टू एनकरेज फॉरेन कैपिटल फ्लोज एंड फर्दर ईरान एंड यूएस सीज फायर जो अनाउंसमेंट आया और जो एक म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग हुई उसकी वजह से एक मार्केट में रैली दिखी. एंड सेकेंड वेट में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो मार्केट हैज स्केल्ड हाई विद जियो पोलिटिकल टेंशंस ईजिंग. उसके बाद जो स्पेसएक्स में जो डेब्यू हुआ जो नैस्डेक पे That has also led to the market sentiment boost, particularly in the US, where we have seen the tech stock movement. And the Fed reserves, they have kept the interest rate unchanged. However, these gains were partially erased when the Accenture announced the weak revenue guidance, and that led to a sharp decline in Korean Kospi and the Nasdaq. That's what we have seen. Lekin falling crude prices provided some support towards the end of the month, and investors remained cautious, however, because of the uncertainty. Because even what we have seen, there was intermittent ceasefire violation and retaliatory action by both parties. So that had also impacted the sentiment. Next slide, please. मैक्रोस की अगर हम बात करें तो ओवरऑल मिक्स्ड मैक्रो रहा है. इन्फ्लेशन की बात करेंगे तो मई सीपीआई इन्फ्लेशन रोज टू 3.9% फ्रॉम 3.5% इन अप्रैल, एंड दैट वाज लार्जली ड्रिवन बाय द हायर फूड प्राइसेस. आईआईपी ग्रोथ अच्छी रही है. दैट हैज एक्सेलरेटेड टू 5 month high at 5.1% in May month, and this is driven by the improved performance in the manufacturing, electricity, capital goods and consumer goods sector. जीडीपी की बात करें तो फॉर FY जो 26 का जो डेटा आया, दैट जीडीपी हैज एक्सपैंडेड 7.7% and that surpassed the estimates and improved from the last year's FY25 numbers. However, when we talk about FY27, there are several risks that emerging from the energy supply disruption, weak rural demand led by the El Nino effect, higher inflation and interest rates. There are anticipation that the interest rate will go up. So in our view, the weakness in the GDP growth is likely to be confined in Q1 FY27. As we have seen this, the crude prices have subsided, and we see the impact of that, this whole geopolitical tension, and the crude oil will subside in the coming quarter. And economy is expected to grow at a 6.5% in FY27 and 7% in FY28. ओवरऑल बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट की बात करेंगे तो बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट डेफिसिट हैज वाइडेंड टू $24 billion. However, the CAD remained stable at 0.6%. Next slide, please. This is very important in the current context. When we look at the June month was quite weak as far as monsoon is concerned. If you see the red patch, right from the top to bottom, and even towards the right side, Eastern India, there also we have seen the June month was quite weak in terms of monsoon. Overall, the number, what it shows is roughly June rainfall was 60% of long period average compared to the IMD forecast of 92%. So that's quite low. IMD has forecasted monthly average rainfall for July. यहाँ पर कुछ improvement की बात की. In fact, we have seen also the monsoon has now covered entire India, and the forecast shows 94% of LPA. That considered to be better than what we have seen historically in the El Nino year. Historically क्या हुआ था El Nino year में जुलाई मंथ में करीबन 15% का जो डेविएशन दिखा था. What we are expecting as of now is relatively better. लेकिन इसका इम्पैक्ट जो ओवरऑल अगर हम देखेंगे मॉनसून का, तो दैट हैज इम्पैक्टेड द सोइंग साइड. इफ यू लुक एट द क्रॉप सोइंग नंबर, 23% चेंज जो हमें दिख रहा है जून मंथ का. दिस इज एज ऑन 25th June. सो वहाँ पर अभी तक सोइंग इज ऑन द वीकर साइड. सो दैट इज अ पॉइंट ऑफ कंसर्न एज फार एज food grain output is concerned and the inflation outlook is concerned. So there's a looming risk on higher inflation, or looming risk of higher inflation going ahead. Next slide, please. RBI policy की बात करें तो RBI monetary policy has unanimously kept the repo rate unchanged at 5.25% while retaining its neutral policy stance. Inflation outlook RBI ने रेज किया है. They have raised this by 50 basis point to 4.7%, and they've also lowered the GDP forecast by 30 basis point in the monetary policy statement to 6.6%. So that is reflecting a weaker macroeconomic outlook. Our estimate as far as the inflation is concerned, we are estimating around 5% for FY27, and that is depending upon the uh, overall trajectory of the inflation, this monsoon, how monsoon progresses, वो एक काफी बड़ा फैक्टर रहेगा. We continue to expect 50 basis point rate hike in FY27 depending upon the overall inflation outlook. इनफैक्ट आरबीआई ने इस मंथ में एक और बड़ा अनाउंसमेंट किया था, दैट इज बूस्टिंग ऑन द मेजर्स रिलेटेड टू बूस्टिंग द फॉरेन कैपिटल इनफ्लोज, एंड उसके वजह से एक करेंसी पे एक पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट एक्सपेक्टेशन है. So that is something on the positive side from the RBI, as far as RBI is concerned. Globally अगर बात करें तो we have seen the US Fed Reserve under new chairman Kevin Walsh has kept the interest rate unchanged at 3.5% to 3.75%. However, the meeting, इस बार की मीटिंग पॉलिसी की बात करें, that was quite shorter. The statement was quite shorter, and they have removed the rate cut buys. And they have also limited they have not given much clarity on the future forward guidance in fact. But overall अगर हम interpret करेंगे the dot plot जो data है, then that shows there is a possibility of a rate hike towards the end of the year. So overall the policy, US policy, Fed policy is more hawkish. यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक ने 25 बेसिस पॉइंट से इंक्रीज की थी इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, एंड सिमिलरली बैंक ऑफ जापान हैज इंक्रीज टू बाय 25 बेसिस पॉइंट टू 1%, which is highest since 1995. Next slide, please. Next slide, yeah. So ओवरऑल अगर मैक्रो की बात करेंगे तो यूएस ईरान जो पीस डील जो है, दे हैव साइंड एग्रीमेंट ऑन जून 15 टू एंड द हॉस्टिलिटीज, बट उसके बाद फिर से टेंशन शुरू हुए. देयर वर इंसिडेंट्स ऑफ सीज फायर वायलेशन एंड देयर वाज काउंटर स्ट्राइक्स बाय बोथ पार्टीज. So overall, if we see, the peace deal is still in limbo. Recently, again, Trump made a statement that we are close to the some agreement also. So ये statement continuous आते रहे हैं, sometimes on the positive side, sometimes on the negative side. लेकिन इसमें सबसे अच्छी बात ये रही है कि क्रूड प्राइसेस जो हमने देखा है, अगर आप ये ग्राफ देखेंगे तो क्रूड प्राइस शार्पली डिक्लाइन हुआ है आफ्टर ऑल दिस इंसिडेंट. एंड हमारा जो करेंसी है, दैट हैज आल्सो because of RBI measure and this all crude price stability, that has come down. Due to that, rupee is more on the stable side, we can say. So that is something positive, that's what we can say. But इसमें सबसे important ये है कि एक sustainable MOU agreement होनी चाहिए, and there should be a long-term clarity on the shipping routes through Strait of Hormuz. So that is very important for a sustainable lower crude price, and that will have a sustainable, we can say more predictable impact on the inflation rather than what we are seeing the current uncertain scenario. Next slide, please. Overall valuations की बात करें, so we believe that this lower oil and gas prices, along with the expected inflows from FCNR deposit, are likely to reduce pressure on the Indian current account deficit, balance of payment, and fiscal position. However, there are concerns over weak monsoon that could weigh on the overall growth and inflation outlook. Lower raw material prices after this all commodity price correction, that is expected to support the margins of particularly consumer and investment linked sectors, and overall that will be positive from the corporate earnings perspective. So overall, for Nifty 50 earnings, we expect a positive outlook as far as FY27 and 28 is concerned. So on a low base of FY26, where we had 8% earnings growth, we are expecting 18% growth in earnings in FY27 and 14.2% in FY28. If you look at the Indian equity market, that has significantly underperformed most of the global peers. over past 12 months, and the index is currently trading at roughly 19 times on FY27 estimated EPS of 1247, and 16.7 times on FY28 estimate of 1431. So that is on a more comfortable zone. We can say it's a more reasonable valuation. Uh, so but that has happened after the derating what we have seen in the IT sector because of its own fundamental issues, and the banking sector. So overall, we expect a moderate re-rating in the Indian equities, as we expect macroeconomic condition to be relatively better uh, after this all global turmoil, and earnings will be more resilient. That's what we are expecting. And we believe that the financial sector is more attractive vis-a-vis the other sectors. So one can focus on financial services sector. Next slide, please. So with this, we have come to the top investment idea. Next slide. So for the month of July, we are recommending five stocks: Mahindra and Mahindra, Axis Bank, United Spirits, FSN E-commerce, which is Nykaa, and Amagi Media Lab. So my colleague will be explaining all these stocks in detail. First, I'll hand over to Amarjit for Nykaa.
Thank you, Pankaj, for the nice presentation. So we will start with the stock idea. So first stock is FS and e-commerce venture, and we have a ad rating on that stock. And this is Nykaa basically. So brand is Nykaa. So Nykaa is a leading omni-channel beauty, personal care, and fashion retail with the fast-growing portfolio of own brands. So in this company, there are a main three segments. One is your beauty and personal care BPC segment. Second is fashion, and third is B2B business. And also the company is selling their own brand, white label brand. So uh, first segment B2C, BPC, beauty and personal care. So the company is targeting around more than approx 25 to 30% gross merchandise value CAGR over 26 to 30, driven by the premium product, selling a high premium product, customer acquisition, brand additions, and faster deliveries, and AI-led personalized recommendations. So based on this, we are, the company expecting strong growth in the beauty and personal care segment, and also expecting operating leverage is expected to, lift EBITDA margin to double digit by 30. In the fashion segment, again, company is expecting more than 30% CAGR in gross mercantile value, and supported by category expansion, which is menswear and kidswear and home category, and also with the higher average order value and customer growth. And in this segment, we are expecting the business is expected to achieve high single digit EBITDA margin by 30. Own brand and B2B, we are the own brand expected to grow 30% CAGR, while B2B business target around 31% GMV CAGR, and EBITDA break even by 30. So overall, considering this, we have upgraded our earning, and we have a ad rating on that, and we our target price is 340 rupees. So over to Amit for the next stop.
Yeah, our next stock idea is United Spirits. We have an ad rating on the stock with a target price of 1480. After a very long time, we have become bullish on the stock. Previous quarter, the company reported strong EBITDA margins of around 20%, which was above our expectation. 26 थोड़ा सा impact हुआ था primarily because of headwinds in Maharashtra and also flat growth in lower prestige category. But हमें FY27 काफ़ी bullish लग रहा है. कंपनी ने डबल डिजिट ग्रोथ एस्पिरेशन रखा है स्पेशली प्रेस्टीज एंड अबव कैटेगरी में with trajectory improving in the final in FY27. हमें ऐसा लगता है कि महाराष्ट्र का जो हेडविंड्स है वो पीक हो चुका है और यहाँ से सिचुएशन ओनली इम्प्रूव होगा. कंपनी हैज आल्सो रीलॉन्च मैकडॉवेल नंबर 1 which can revive the lower prestige category growth for the company. Company is also accelerating premiumization in Karnataka post the new policy that was announced in the state. और कंपनी को काफ़ी कुछ बेनिफिट होगा यूके एफटीए के वजह से। हमने और भी इम्प्रेसिव रैंप अप देखा है स्मरनॉफ में। मार्जिन फ्रंट में कंपनी शुड बी एबल टू मिटिगेट द इंक्रीज इन पैकेजिंग प्राइसेस थ्रू and also slightly higher A&P spend for FY27, primarily because of premiumization and UK FTA and other cost saving measures implemented by the company. So overall, FY27 looks very promising for the company. There is another optionality of Bihar may get reopened in near term, and company may also resort to price hikes going forward. So overall, stock has underperformed in the last 1 year, especially if we compare it with other Alcobev companies like Radico Khaitan and Allied Blenders. And we see a very strong FY27 for the company. And we have an ad rating with a target price of 1480. Over to Arun.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. So basically on autos, we are positive. We have seen a bit of, interest again developing in the auto largely after the crude oil prices have come off, and we have seen a bit of correction in the metal prices as well. So one stock that we like in this space is Mahindra and Mahindra. So the company has got operations broadly in three categories, we can say. One is tractors, the other is SUVs, and the third is light commercial vehicles. The company's performance over the years have been quite strong across all the segments that they operate into. Tractors, for example, if you look at last year, they gained market share even in fourth quarter, and they have around 43-44% overall market share in the domestic tractor industry. The overall volume growth this quarter has also been pretty good. It's been almost around 18% what they have done in April, May, June put together. Uh, Light commercial vehicle, again, company has a leadership position in a specific category where we see their overall market share being about 50% and still gaining market share. We going forward, we expect both Mahindra and Mahindra, to continue to outgrow the industry, both in the tractor and the CV segment, led by new product launches as well as the traction that they're gaining on the existing products as well. Coming on to tractors, we have seen, there are concerns a little bit on the monsoons. If the monsoons are weaker, then we could see some impact. But over the past, few El Nino years that we have looked at, there have been a mixed responses to the tractor industry. So there have been few years, where the industry has been impacted, but then again, there have been few years where the tractor industry has continued to grow despite El Nino. We'll have to wait and watch how the things pans out. But again, we believe the current situation for demand remains pretty strong. Yes, in H2, we might see a bit of moderation going forward, and that largely would also be because the base also becomes pretty high going forward into second half of FY27. In the SUV segment, again, the company is a market leader in revenue terms when we look at in terms of, and they have a good market share of 25% plus last year. The overall product cycle for the company also has been pretty strong. And they have showcased a lot of products which they'll be coming out going over the next few years. So this we believe should help the company to sustain this leadership position that they have in the SUV segment as well. When you look at the auto segment performance for this quarter, which is the April, May, June period, there too they have grown 20 to 23% in terms of volumes as compared to same period last year. So the growth remains strong for the company. Q1 might see a little bit of pressure on the margins. That would be true for all the companies because we had, sharp increase in metal prices post the US-Iran war. But since then, the crude oil prices have also corrected, even the commodity prices have corrected, and we should see the margins, to improve going forward in the coming quarters then. Again, from a valuation perspective, the stocks remains pretty much inexpensive to us, and our fair value is based on so we have valued the tractor, the light commercial vehicle, and the SUV business separately, and that's how we have arrived to a fair value of 4,050 rupees. So we have a buy rating on the stock with the fair value of 4,050. Yeah. Over to my colleague.
Thank you very much. a quick update on Amagi Media Labs, which is another stock which we have in offering for you guys. So we have ad rating on the stock with a fair value of 625 rupees. Amagi Media Labs is a leading cloud native software as a service company that enables global media companies to create, distribute, and monetize content through a fully integrated technology platform. The company serves three key customer segments: content providers, content distributors, and advertising platforms and advertisers. So these are the three key customers for them, making it a critical technology partner in the rapidly evolving digital media ecosystem. Why we like Amagi? The global media industry is undergoing a structural shift from traditional linear television to internet, internet-based streaming and connected TV. At the same time, as a broadcaster and content owner, increasingly migrate to cloud-based workflows, Amagi is well positioned to benefit from this long-term secular trend. The company offers an end-to-end cloud platform that allows customers to launch new channels, distribute content across multiple platforms, and monetize audience efficiency through targeted advertisement. So this is important. Very targeted oriented advertisement is done. It's asset light subscription driven business model, provides strong operating leverage as revenue scales up. So economies of scale plays a very crucial role in it. We expect Amagi's US dollar revenue to grow at a healthy 18.3% CAGR during FY 26 to 29. So if we look at the valuation side, we like the company with the ad rating we have assigned to it and a DCA based fair value of 625 rupees per share, implying 33 times September 28 EV to EBITDA. While the stock trades at a premium valuation multiple, typically of high quality SaaS business, we believe it's a long runway for growth, improving profitability and strengthening return profile justify the valuation. So that's all from my side.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit sir. Hello to all. A very good afternoon. Axis Bank is another stock which we like. On the stock, we have a buy rating with a fair value of 1,600. Now, the last quarter, which is Q4, was a good quarter for Axis Bank. A good quarter, especially because of the matrices. The first one was on the loan growth front. So on Q4, the bank saw the comeback of its loan growth. Now, पिछले कुछ quarters से the loan growth for Axis Bank has not really been up to the mark. But in Q4, we saw this trend reversing. They reported a loan growth of close to 18-19% level, which was pretty good. Also, अगर हम अभी बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री का लेटेस्ट रिपोर्ट्स देखें, so the loan growth for the entire industry has been holding up pretty good, and therefore this gives us the confidence कि आने वाले क्वार्टर्स में भी एक्सिस बैंक का जो लोन ग्रोथ है that can sustain at good levels. The second metrics which showed a comeback for Axis Bank was the slippage ratio. Now, similar to loan growth, slippage ratio also for the bank from several quarters was quite sticky and not up to the mark. But Q4 May, we saw slippage declining materially, which surprised the market on a good note. And we are of the opinion that these healthy trends in slippages will also sustain going ahead. So a comeback in loan growth and slippages are two key tailwinds for Axis Bank in the medium term. Valuation wise, Axis Bank trades at a very fair levels. In fact, the entire good top banking players are trading at a very fair valuation. So is Axis Bank, and therefore we are quite comfortable recommending Axis Bank at these levels. I repeat, on Axis Bank we have a buy rating with a fair value of 1,600. That's it from my end.
Thank you, Veer, and thank you, team, for this insightful presentation. I hope our participants found it useful. With this, we will now open the floor for Q&A session. So ask your questions now. I'll start with some of the questions that we already have. So one of the participant is asking, what is the prospects of Wipro share in this month, can we expect 200 rupees? So we do not give short-term views for a month or so, but I am sure our analyst Sumit Pokarna can help you with the fundamental long-term view. So over to Sumit, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wipro, we have been time and again guiding our investors that from a longer term perspective, the stock is not looking promising. In fact, you can look for better companies in the IT space. The company has been underperforming or underperforming from last few quarters. So there is no reason to buy this stock at this point in time. For short term, definitely you can take help of technical guys. A bounce back or a meaningful bounce back is possible because all the IT stocks have fallen drastically in the recent past. So technical guys can help you on this.
Sure. Thank you, Sumit, sir. Next question is from Avinash. He's asking L&T Finance shares में क्या करे? So for this, we have our BFSI analyst Veer. Veer, would you like to take this question?
Yeah. So fundamentally on L&T Finance, we have a sell rating on the stock. So firstly, Q4 for L&T Finance was actually a decent quarter for L&T Finance, a decent quarter on all the important matrices. Uh, GNPA saw improvement, credit cost saw improvement, and also the AUM growth is now showing good signs of revival. On a medium-term basis, the NBFC has sort of changed its strategy, where they are now moving out from MFI and farm equipment segment to more towards the urban kind of category. So we like this medium-term strategy for NBFC. However, we are of the opinion that the current financial year would be a challenging year for this particular NBFC. And if you look at the track record for L&T Finance, it has been not very up to the mark. So we would still want to wait in line and check how they perform, and then accordingly we'll monitor the NBFC closely. But as of now, we like to maintain our sell rating on L&T Finance.
Right. Thank you, Veer. But Veer, there's one more question from, sorry, one question from Ganesh. He wants outlook on Canara Bank and Ashok Leyland. If you could take Canara Bank and then Arun sir can take Ashok Leyland. Veer, you're there? Veer, you are on mute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is my voice audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So on Canara Bank, we have an ad rating. We have a fair value of 150. Now the last financial year for Canara Bank was pretty good. They reported ROE of 18%, and their credit cost was 0.6%. Pretty much in all the important matrices, Canara Bank delivered good set of results. It is, however, important to note that one of the primary drivers for their ROEs going up has been the recoveries from their bad loans. Now, going forward, it makes us think that the quantum from their bad loan recoveries would certainly come down, and therefore, incrementally, the improvement in ROAs and ROEs would not be very material as they saw in the last financial year. So that is something which can restrict the upside. Having said this, at these valuations, it's not an expensive buy, and therefore, on the stock we have an ad rating with a fair value of 150. But yeah, we do prefer other top banks if we are speaking on a relative basis.
Yeah, all right. I'll also talk on Ashok Leyland. There's one query there. So let me just also cover the commercial vehicle sector since they are largely into that particular space. Overall, with this expectation of easing, Middle East tensions, we are expecting the entire medium and heavy commercial vehicle segment industry growth to continue going forward. However, we expect the pace of growth to be lower. So last year, when we look at FY26, the growth was very strong for the entire medium and heavy commercial vehicle segment. That's the large trucks and bus segment. But going into FY27, we do expect the growth will continue, but the pace of growth will see moderation, or it will be lower than what it was last year because the base firstly has increased there. And last year, we also had the entire, second half where GST had strongly pulled up the demand. So even in first quarter, we have seen Ashok Leyland posting positive numbers. Even Tata Motors commercial vehicle has posted pretty healthy numbers. So we remain positive from a growth perspective. The only thing that one has to consider is that the crude oil prices have, sort of come down, and, with diesel constituting almost a 30 to 50% of the total cost of, operations for a fleet operator or truck fleet operator. So that we see as a positive at this point in time. And as I also said that the commodity prices have come down, so we could see some improvement or some positive impact of that in margins for these companies in the coming quarter. So Q1 will continue to see an impact, but maybe beyond that, we could see some recovery in margins from Q1 levels. So we remain positive both on Tata Motors, CV's play, as well as Ashok Leyland as well. But both the stocks are, the upside from these levels we see is limited at this point in time. Maybe corrections from the stock should be used as an opportunity to add the stock.
Sure. Thank you, Arun sir. Next question is from Bhavin Prajapati. He wants to know view on Trent. So for this, we have our analyst Pankaj Kumar. Would you like to take this question, Pankaj sir?
Yeah, sure. On Trent, we have a reduced rating and we have a fair value of 3025. If you look at the numbers and overall valuations, so we have seen single digit growth in same store sales growth. एरिया ग्रोथ जो है उनका काफी अच्छा ग्रो हुआ है लास्ट ईयर 30% से, बट द सेम स्टोर सेल्स ग्रोथ इज लोअर एंड द सेकंड थिंग इज द स्टोर डेंसिफिकेशन, जो एक एरिया में बहुत सारे स्टोर्स किए, या फिर इन द टियर 2 and tier 3 where you have throughput is the relatively low. So due to that, we have seen not that kind of growth in the top line. And the valuations also more than 60 times on a forward basis is quite expensive. So Trent, we have a reduced rating. That's what I.
Thank you. Next question. So next couple of questions are for Sumit sir on IT. So Sumit sir, participants want to know view on Infosys and Tata Technology.
Yeah. Tata Technologies is more of a ER&D company, and we have been quite negative on that space. If you look, most of the companies have underperformed drastically, particularly because of concerns in Europe. So you can avoid all ER&D companies for the time being. Just to highlight Tata Technologies, Tata Elxsi, LTTS. So these companies are not doing KPIT. These companies are not expected to do well in the near future. One can avoid these stocks. Secondly, Infosys. Infosys is more like a IT service provider. The business model is totally different from ER&D companies. So from a longer term perspective, we believe Infosys should do well. But at this point in time, market is uncertain about what will be the impact of AI on these Indian IT services companies. That is why they are getting a lot of beating. So the best approach is to buy on dips, keep buying on dips from a longer term perspective. We are not saying the bottom has made. We might see some more downside as the geopolitical or any other event happens. Till the time we do not get a good clarity on the earnings growth trajectory of and the impact of AI on the revenue of these companies, it is too difficult to predict what can happen in terms of share price movement. But you have to focus more from a longer term perspective and buy on dips.
Got it. Thank you, Sumit sir. With this, we will have to end the webinar over here. So I hope we were able to answer all your queries. Thank you all for joining us. Your feedback means a lot to us. So please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And before we wrap, just a quick reminder, stay connected with us on Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter for regular research updates and stock ideas. Also, our next webinar on first quarter preview is happening on 14th of July. So please register today for it. See you guys there. Thank you, everyone.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.